Yo, good vibes to the Immaculate Collective. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's your boy, John. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic Tuesday. Lock in, everybody load up, get involved, get into the chat. And of course, if you'd like to call in today, join us on Discord. If you guys don't know the drill by now, go find the Discord link in the bio. Yeah, and then join up our Discord community and then join us in the waiting room for your chance to jump in on that call. Today, I'm going to keep the calls a little bit short in the sense that I'm going to put a bit of a timer so everybody can have their chance to really sort of get involved in the conversation. Thinking about maybe putting a 4-minute timer, if that's cool with y'all. Let's have a good time today. A quick little disclaimer. I think Yub in the chat was already like, hey, I thought call-in shows were on Wednesday. Unfortunately, tomorrow's show will have to be canceled because I'm reporting for jury duty tomorrow. And I have no idea how that's going to go. I have no idea what the schedule is going to be. And jury duty means that I'm pretty far away from my home. So I figured it might just be better to pull the call-in show a little bit earlier today, and then take care of that today so that I don't want to be the one to tell you guys like, oh, I'll be here tomorrow, and then all of a sudden jury duty takes long and whatever, and so on and so forth. If you guys live in America, you know what jury duty is like. Hardbread in the chat, what's going on, my man? He said, I just had jury duty this week. Oh, I hope it was smooth for you though. I hope it wasn't too long. Eisen in the chat. What's going on, Eisen? He says, what's up, John? Come on, United. Love it. Come on, United. Love it. Love that energy. Let's see what let's see what else is locking in today. Ray in the chat says, wait, good vibes and footy and live in the same YouTube? This will be the most positive football show ever done. Ray, I like that. Let's see who else is joining us today. We got Katie Marie joining us. We got Vispo locking in the chat. Call me ancestor as usual. Talking about Timberwolves. I don't know if Timberwolves gonna get an easy dub today. Who y'all got today? I don't know about easy dub, but Tom on Footy, what's going on, my man? He says, evening, John. Loving the schedule. Thank you so much for joining us, Tom on Footy. Appreciate you. I apologize. I won't be able to do the live show tomorrow. Like I said, on some things just out of my control, and this is where the government is calling my ass because they're like, hey, John, you got to call in for jury duty. Do your civic duty is what the government's telling me to do. So, yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm going to make sure I take this off for now because there's no call just yet. Actually, I'll just leave it on. Screw it. But yeah, Hardbread says, I was there for 6 hours and didn't even get picked. Bring a book and some snacks. Damn. Sitting there for 6 hours. Yo, my back cannot take sitting there for 6 hours. Damn, man. Can I be on my phone? I can't be on my phone. If y'all been in jury duty, talk to me. Can you be on your phone? Udon Poppy in the chat, what's going on, my man? He says, big Korea win this morning, John. Absolutely 1-0 victory against Ghana. Although I do want to talk a little bit about that because I was a little bit concerned about the turnout. Here in America, especially in New York, when we had South Korea pull up to play America, it felt like it was a Korea home game. The Sports Illustrated arena. Thank you for subscribing, Red Mallet. The Sports Illustrated arena was packed with South Koreans, and the cheering and the roar of the damn Mingo, like that vibe was completely all Korea vibes, and the American fans, and Mauricio Pochettino was actually complaining about it because he was like, hey, the American fans need to really get behind their team and whatnot. But yo, like Koreans turned up, and I thought it was gonna be the same, but against Ghana, apparently like half the stadium was empty. And yeah, we won the game, but I don't know. A lot of people, especially the people that I listen to when it comes to football, Korean football, they were saying that people are sort of bored of the game and of the sort of the formation and the playing style and whatnot. But yo, look. I mean, I guess for South Korea fans of course, supporters of the Korean national team, I guess it's a little bit different because, when you guys are out there, you get a little bit more of that exposure on the regular, whereas it's a lot more rarer for South Korea to turn up, especially here in our city, here in New York. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm glad it was a victory. I would much rather always have a victory over a defeat or a draw any day of the week. But yeah, I was actually wanted to make a video about it, but I just didn't have the time. I saw Igangin again having an influential game, and I just feel like while maybe perhaps the Korean side doesn't look as spicy at this moment in time, I do think there's still plenty of stacked quality and talent in there. So yeah. But yeah, hold up. Let me see. Tom on Footy says, do you recommend the Shure mics for content? I recommend any mic, whether it be Rode or Shure or Yeti or DJI. What I recommend is, do you want to do content that badly that you're willing to grab a microphone? That's what I always sort of, if you feel like that content is something you want to do 100%, then I recommend you chase any microphone. That's really my recommendation. It's not always about the equipment, but if you are in a position where you do want to take it to the next level and you want to focus a little bit about equipment, then yeah, I mean, these Shure SMB7s, SM7Bs, like these are, you know, the top of the line in that sense. So, Yub in the chat says, John's stream is better than the day GTA 6 releases. I might stream GTA 6, you know, who knows? Who knows? Who really knows, you know? My freaking pants getting stuck under my freaking thighs. Real quick, guys, if you guys haven't noticed by now, shouts out to my homies at Streffa Paddock. Shouts out to Streffa Paddock for sending me. Wait, the text is really getting in the way. For sending me the merch. Thank you so much, Jay, Joe, Steve, Adam, and of course my Paddock family, because always repping for life. And yeah, it's warm. It's really warm. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out Streffa Paddock's merch, I highly recommend you go check it out. This is really warm. Taste Stifler in the chat. This is up, John. What's going on? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Ray was saying, do I need any tips regarding jury duty? I don't know really about tips per se. I just really want to know if I'm allowed to be on my phone, because, you know, then I can still be making content or like writing or doing something, you know, doing something productive. If I'm going to be sitting there waiting the whole time, doing absolutely nothing. If I can be on my phone or if I can bring my iPad, sick, you know, or even my laptop. But I'm assuming there's an element of not being able to bring that kind of stuff. I have no idea. But yeah. Katie Marie answered. It says, no, it has to be off and silent. No! Are you telling me I can't keep my damn phone? No. I mean, it'll be a good escape. Maybe I might just start writing content. I could bring a pad and some pen, right? I'll just start writing content by hand. What's going on, Mustafa, my boy in the chat? Legal Footy says, John, put me onto the drip, man. Hey, yo, look, if you're a fan of Streffa Paddock, if you're a Manchester United fan, everybody knows Streffa Paddock. So if you guys don't know, Streffa Paddock is the longest serving Manchester United fan channel, previously known as Full Time Devils. That's really where I got my quote unquote start. They just sent me this merch, which arrived by mail today. So yeah, it's just very, very warm. So shouts out to Jay, Joe, Adam, and Steven. Thank you so much. Mu Dawal Justice says, all the best from Nigeria. Shouts out to you. Thank you for sending love from Nigeria. And commiserations to you guys. I saw the shock result. Nigeria will not be going to the World Cup. And it is kind of sad because Nigeria is one of the nations that, you know, has a bit of a football presence in AFCON, and I'm sure Nigerian fans are extremely sad, and you know, I can't imagine what that must feel like. I mean, South Korea, we might not be always sort of the powerhouses when we go out there in the World Cup, but we've always been qualifying for the however many times consecutively. So, but yeah, commiserations nonetheless. And of course, if you are from Congo, shouts out to y'all, because Congo is going to the World Cup. So congratulations in that sense. And Yoop says, iPad kid's going to struggle on jury duty. I know, right? I know. You know, a lot of people seem to forget. Back in them times, I'm not trying to sound like an old fart, but back in them times, man, let me tell you, we used to have fun without electronics. You know what I mean? Andre's life, what's going on? Ray says, so you're going to get the long form content back, John? Yes, absolutely, Ray. So I did drop the quote unquote trailer video. It's just me yapping away on my phone, but which actually I was a little bit peeved. I was a bit PO'd because on YouTube I posted it with like a title and everything, but then for some reason when I scheduled it and it uploaded, the title changed to C or something. It was like ridiculous. I was like, what the hell? But yeah. Kanyuk's in the chat. What's going on? He says, yo, John, gun to your head, who should go? Jisung Park or Heung-min Son? Gun to my head is Jisung Park all day. You could put a bazooka on my head, it's Jisung Park. You could put a lightsaber unsheathed, sheathed and unpulled out in my head. Jisung Park. I love Sonny to death. Y'all know how much I got love for Sonny. That's my second GOAT. Close second. But my GOAT is Park Ji-sung. You could put a gun, a bazooka, a katana, a lightsaber, a wiener. Don't be nasty. Talking about sausage. Katie Marie says you can have it on you, but no, you have to be ready for anything. No electronics, no cameras, and they don't want anyone major noise or people trying to research the case. Oh wow, damn, it's that serious, huh? Well, I mean, like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, look, in terms of like the severity of the case, I'm sure, of course, that takes precedence over anything else, of course, you know, and if it's our civic duty, I get it, but damn, man, let me just get some work done while we wait. You know what I mean? I ain't got I have no interest in wanting to research nothing. But I completely understand. Thank you for the information, Katie. Appreciate it. And Vispo says, 큰가요? Is it big? What's big? Cody Fall says, what do you think about Ronaldo going to visit Trump today? Trump calls CR7 the GOAT, but obviously because he was there at the White House. Honestly, I don't really know. Honestly, like what's going on with the world of politics and football and the way it's sort of like coming together is just all weird to see. I'll be real with y'all. It's very weird. When it comes to politics, I stay away from it for as much as possible because I genuinely believe that in this world where everybody has more of a voice, which I believe they should, 110%, but now with the power of social media, anybody can do anything with respect to spreading information. And for many a times, I've seen a lot of misinformation. So I find it my responsibility to be more careful about talking about football, about politics in that sense, because I am not well-versed nor am I qualified, nor do I believe myself to be qualified. And I should. And I always try to, understand and learn a little bit more, but it's not my realm of expertise, and I don't really want to speak about it too much, but it is sometimes weird and frustrating to see what's going on. But yeah. Liverpool videos in the chat says, John, did you ever watch the Piers Morgan Ronaldo interview? I try to get by it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Piers Morgan, with the greatest respect, like, I don't know. Like my heart doesn't take to people like Piers, especially somebody as divisive as Piers, somebody that we know prior to whatever rebranding he's done now. He spent years being divisive, nasty, manipulative, and now all of a sudden it's okay, and now he's just out here interviewing Ronaldo. It's just kind of weird, you know what I mean? Udon Poppy says, Ronnie joining the Sith Lords. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's hella weird. I can't lie. Youb says, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I think John likes Jisung Park. I think that, let me just be honest with you. I think that's a very safe assumption. Yeah. Katie Marie says, GRE tampering is a huge deal. Yeah, I mean, look, I was obviously speaking lightheartedly before, but of course it's very serious, especially if it's more serious in terms of the case itself, But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be my first time, so I'm gonna be going out there and just sitting there, writing on my notepad, and yeah, I'm a little bit concerned because I pee and poop a lot. I use the restroom quite often, so like one of those things is like, imagine I'm like sitting on the toilet, just you know what I mean, and then all of a sudden they're like, John Shin, get up here, you gotta go in trial or something. I'm like, no, I haven't wiped yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little bit concerned with that. Phil Johnson says Ronaldo ruins his legacy with those stupid interviews. I really don't know why he chose to like hang with with Piers Morgan. And look, I have no idea. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe what Piers has been doing is all for show and whatever. But I can't help but feel like somebody who's taken media, in terms of trying to use it to their own advantage in the sense that like they don't care if they spread divisiveness or manipulative ideologies or comments or whatever, and then use that for their benefit. Like I don't know, it feels a little bit weird. But anyways, the less we talk about Piers Morgan, the better. Liverpool video says, yes, I also agree with you. The interview could have been so interesting, but it felt so cringy. Like, imagine if Ronaldo sat with, I mean, he sits with Uncle Rio a lot because I know they're really good friends, but like, what if he sat with, I don't know, like the Korean Englishman, for example. I was like, oh, what was the name again? Josh and Ali, Jolly. I was like, what was the name again? I completely like spaced out. Imagine they sat together with Jolly, the Korean Englishman, sitting there in London, having Korean barbecue, drinking a little bit of that soju vibes, talking about football and life. That would have been way more interesting, But anyways. Ray says, LeBron returning tonight, freaking amazing longevity. It's insane seeing what LeBron is doing. It is absolutely insane. I can't lie with you. Udon Poppy says, Ronaldo, sit down with good vibes, John. Yo, my man, I love that. He should sit down with me. We would have a great conversation. But I would set up that interview. We would have a great time. Me and him just drinking soju and vibes. I don't even drink like that, but with Ronnie, why not? Ray says, when you were talking about LeBron there, that longevity, I think it has to be respected. 100. I grew up in an era where so many of my friends loved LeBron, but I also grew up in an era where so many of my friends loved Kobe. So many of my friends loved Shaq and, Melo and so many of the OGs that like, I never really connected with LeBron in that sense, but you know what I mean? Ray says, Korean Englishman and Jolly are really great channels. I love their content. I absolutely love the friendship that Josh and Ollie have. I really, really love. Vispo says, bro is older than LeBron. Absolutely not. I am not. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that, Vispo. Stop. We're not out here spreading misinformation. All right. I ain't older than LeBron James. Don't be saying stuff like that. Ray says, John, as you get older, do you find the Korean barbecue where you cook yourself is overrated? I cannot do all you can eat Korean barbecue anymore plus cook. So one thing this is just me, and if you guys are different, let me know in the chat, right? But as I got older, the amount of food that I can eat, it shrunk exponentially. So I never feel like I get my money's worth if I ever go to an all you can eat. I'm still big as hell, but my portion in terms of how much I eat has decreased significantly. So I can't remember the last time I went to an all you can eat. Plus, if I ever had to recommend Korean barbecue to somebody that's never tried before, I would never ever recommend Korean barbecue all you can eat style. With the greatest respect, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I would much rather recommend a place that is much known for their quality of meat, much known for their service, much known for their banchan, and a lot more of those kinds of elements of what makes Korean barbecue not just amazing food, but also an authentic, fun experience. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with all you can eat. If you love eating meat and you love Korean barbecue, then yeah, all you can eat is perfect place for you. Because you sort of forego a little bit of that. You offset the cost with a little bit of that lack in quality, but it's still good enough in many areas. So yeah. This one says older than Casemiro. No, I'm not older than Casemiro. Am I? No, stop. Phil Johnson says, do you think Portugal would have better chances to win the World Cup without Ronaldo playing? That is I guess today is going to be a Cristiano Ronaldo special. We'll just talk about Ronnie. Do I think they'll have a better chance? I thought about this for a little bit. You know, because we noticed that a little bit at United, with the greatest respect to Ronaldo, but we were in a position where we really couldn't afford to have somebody like Ronaldo because we just need a lot of legs in industry, and Ronaldo was not going to be able to run and press 24/7, and that's understandable. You know, Ronaldo is not young, so I do understand that. But does that change with Portugal? I think his aura and presence in Portugal is way more valued and important than his aura at United. As wild as that might sound, I think that's facts. And while maybe not having him maybe increases the chances in other elements, for example, having more legs, having more industry, having more youth, you also lose out on a lot of experience, a lot of that aura and that potential ability of that Ronaldo factor, you know, because as old as he gets, you know, like you said, this is going to be his last World Cup. He's still going to be important nonetheless. So when it comes to Portugal, I'll say that he still is a huge important player for that squad for sure. Am Dazzler, thank you for sending the rose. Appreciate you. Liverpool Video says, have you seen the Henri podcast on Diary of a CEO? I have not yet done so. I have seen little bits of clips here and there, but I'm not seeing it. And shouts out to Steve Bartlett. I met him out in Los Angeles, and we played footy together with Manchester United. It was a fun time. Steve is a very nice guy, and we had a good time. And I also got to meet Chris Eubank Jr. We were like two-touch passing around for a little bit. Liverpool Video says he opened up on his struggles with depression and not being there for his family. He was pushing himself too much. I did see that. I remember seeing that clip for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think what Steve does with his interviews and the way that he approaches some of the conversations, I think it's good. Maybe I should sit down and just kind of like really consume the entire podcast. Vispo, thank you for the heart. Appreciate you, my man. Ace says, I'm hearing a lot of transfer news on Man United. Well, obviously, at this moment in time, a lot of the media outlets know that Manchester United need to move for targets. So, of course, it's only right that they start linking players for the sake of, you know, for some reporters, actually reporting, and for others, clickbaiting. Ikayo in the chat, what's going on? Big up yourself. Matt Ham says, I've watched games with no Ronaldo. Most of the times they can't score. Yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh, they did it against Armenia. And with the greatest respect to Armenia, Portugal is still a stacked team. So I think, you know, you have to think about it in the big picture. Wake in the morning and I step outside and I'll take a deep breath and I'll get real high. And I don't know, that song was in my head the whole time. Edward Chen in the chat, what's going on? He says, Bruno Miguel Borges Fernandes absolutely cooking with a hat trick. Love seeing Bruno with a hattie. A says, a center mid in Adam Wharton and Anderson, those two will cook. I don't know about having both an Elliot Anderson and an Adam Morton. I would love to have either one. And for me, I much prefer Adam Morton. Edward Chen says, did you see Scotty with the bicycle? Oh my day. Shouts out Scott McTominay. My man went absolutely crazy with that. He hit that thing so lovely. Scott McTominay, he went over to the warmer country of Italy. My man started eating delicious, simple pastas, fantastic ingredients, enjoying the Italian sun, enjoying the Napoli air, incredible espressos, incredible vibes, the beautiful country of Italy. And then all of a sudden, he started dressing like he was, you know, he played for AC Milan back in 1999 or something. You know what I mean? My man turned to Scott McSuave, and he's looking suave and having a hell of a good time. He's balling out. So shouts out to Scott. So happy to see him absolutely enjoy his time. This one says, John, I can make you those pastas if you pay me. How much are we talking? Johnny P in the chat, what's going on, Johnny? He says, Unk, who's your favorite Jujutsu Kaisen character? Ooh, good question. Let me be real with you right now. I'm a little bit more bland in that sense. My favorite, I don't want to say Gojo, because is that a boring pick? What's my man's name with the snapping one? I forgot his name. That guy's my boy. I loved his energy and his brotherhood with Yuji. Aces, but I heard rumors about Semenya to United. I don't know how I feel about it. Well, look, I was actually on United View yesterday. Shouts out to Flex and Owen and the United View gang. We were out there talking about some signings, for example, like a Semenyo, and I said that I'd take him all day, but it also depends on the price, and I don't want to move for that right now if it means that if we have money to spend, I would rather spend it on a midfielder, because I really think that bringing in a midfielder in January is more of an importance and issue than any other position. That's a summer transfer signing. Yeah, I know. But my point is however money is allocated, whenever, I would rather prioritize a central midfielder and then a wingback. And I would much prefer figuring out our left wingback position first. But Salmon Ahmed says we're getting Semenyo. I wouldn't mind bringing in Semenyo. It's not a bad shout. Bispo says, was in a tournament where they picked the best from each school and they competed on who's the best. Oh, sick. You talking footy, Vispo? Oh, Toto. Right, Toto. I like Toto. He's cool. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Johnny P. Remind me. What's the name of the girl without the spiritual thingy, but she fights with weapons? She got glasses, and then she loses the glasses. Maki. Yes, Johnny. Maki's my favorite. Maki is she's so cold. She's so gangster. I love Maki. She marries that other guy, right? Oh. Sorry, I'm not trying to spoil JJK for some of y'all, but anyways, yeah, Maki's dope. Edward Chen says, do we keep or re-sign Casemiro? Let me tell you right now. If you asked me last year, I would say, hey, Casemiro should just, it'd probably be best for both parties if we moved. But if we see the resurgence, right? As long as Casemiro is willing to agree to a lower wage, which I think he will, I wouldn't mind re-upping with Casemiro on a year or two contract, 100%. I think, of course, you're not going to rely on Casemiro week in, week out, especially if we go to Europe next year. But he is one of those players that 110% would add value. And if we can keep him on a lower wage contract for a year or two, I think it's so vital, absolutely crucial that we keep somebody like him around. You know, like that's the thing with Casemiro, is that we were never supposed to rely on him so many games. That was never going to be his role, and we threw him into that. Yeah, it's not his fault that his wages were on 300 plus grand a week. That's not his fault. It's the agent and the club that put him on that. Because they put him on that, they demanded that much from him. But we shouldn't be doing that to a 34, 33-year-old man. Like I just feel like, especially if we're playing in a two-man midfield, you need that robustness. You know, and one of the major reasons as to why I think at this moment in time Manchester United is flourishing is because we're seeing the resurgence of somebody like Casemiro controlling that game in midfield, really being able to, you know, keep things tight and allow Bruno to play his game as well. Both are putting in an absolute incredible shift. You know, that's a midfield pair that's both over the age of 30. That's you got to put some respect on both of their name. You know what I'm saying? Vispo says, yeah, no, I know you studied to be a chef, but if you telling me you was going to be you were picked to be a best, it could be a football tournament, it could be a cooking tournament, but either way, Vispo, that's dope. That is absolutely dope. I love watching people cook. One of my first things I always do when I have free time is watch cooking videos. I absolutely love cooking. I wish I could cook more, but I live alone, so it's not like I can't buy a lot of ingredients and then just chef it all up and just pop out 3 dishes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't work like that, you know. But I would love to be at a moment in time. Like, I would also love to just have friends over and I'll just cook for them. I love doing stuff like that, you know. Let's see. Kanyuk says, if Casemiro signs, we get justifiable money. When we sell him later, it's important considering Sancho is gone for free. What's your take on Adeyemi, Chatter John and chat? Let me first answer that by saying that I think Adeyemi is a good talent, but I've been watching BVB a little bit more. With the greatest respect, I don't think he's any sort of at the level of quality, nor does he fit the profile of what we need at this moment in time. So, Adeyemi, dope, but I don't think United should be going for him. You know, 47 Atu, thank you for joining us. Greetings from Papua, Indonesia. Shouts out to you for checking in from Indonesia, my man. Guys, by the way, this is a call-in show for today. I know, like I mentioned at the top of the show, if you guys are just joining us now, I wanted to let y'all know that tomorrow I won't be able to go live because it's out of my control. I'm going to jury duty. So, yeah, so I won't be able to get home in time to do the live stream because the court is kind of far. So, yeah. I am Lorky in the chat. What's going on, my man? Vispo says he's got some pork in the oven.
Nah, he did it.
Immortal Joker, thank you for following. Appreciate you. Katie's cooking right now. Dope, what you cooking, Katie? And I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high. Vispo says tender and shit. Big ups to Vispo and his tender and shit as pork. Delicious. But yeah, like I said, so today is the call-in show instead of tomorrow because I won't be here. I'm going to be reporting for jury. So, yeah. If you guys want to get involved in the call, now's your chance to do so. Hop on, hop off, whenever. Discord, you know the vibes. I'm currently in the process of doing 1,000 things at once, 1,500 things really. In addition to preparing production for my new show and shooting my new show, we also have a new series that's going out. In addition to the long form, in addition to the structured schedule of content, and on top of that, I'm also trying to do a lot of new graphics as we're going, and I'm learning that on the fly. So it's taking a little bit of time, but we're getting there. I'm Lorky says, bro, the weekend will be boring. We have Monday football. Yo, you know, I'm Lorky. That's a good point. You know what I'm saying? I'm so annoyed because Man United's game, like Johnny P says, it's on a Monday. Why is it on a Monday? I'm working. I can't watch the game when I'm working. I won't have time. I won't have time. Ray says, I'd call, but I have nothing to talk about. Damn. Me too. I'm just reading y'all's comment and having a good evening, you know? Vispo says, giving it to my grandma. W me. Yo, W's to Vispo. Feeding your family. I love that. Yeah, so I don't do content full time, so I'm working, y'all. I won't be able to watch the game. It's a damn shame. Damn shame. I'm Lorky says, we just hate watch this weekend. Oh, sure, wrong one. Oh, wrong one again. We hate watch. Boom. Phil Johnson says, who do we play on Monday? We play Everton. Ray talking about the Las Vegas Grand Prix. What's to my F1 people? What's the best F1 team right now? Is it FC Mercedes-Benz? Is it Real Ferrari? Talk to me. I don't have a leg in the F1 horse race, but I absolutely love Mercedes-Benz. So am I, by default, am I a Mercedes-Benz guy or Benz doing well? I am Lorky says, we hate watch Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day. Step outside and I'll take a deep breath. Ray says, right now it's McLaren. Best driver is Max Verstappen. Isn't Verstappen is, if I'm not mistaken, he's in Red Bull, right? Ray and Phil Johnson both says it's McLaren. I mean, McLarens are cool cars too. They make some cool cars. The first racing game that I played ever, I think it might have been Gran Turismo. But I remember driving a McLaren, and I remember thinking like, whoa, this is a cool car. But then I remember playing Maximum Tune. Shouts out to the arcade goers. There used to be a racing arcade game called Maximum Tune. Me and my friends used to go after school all the time, and we used to play Maximum Tune, and we used to load up our own personal cars. And I remember I used to drive a Mitsubishi Lancer? I can't remember the name, but I know it was a Mitsubishi for sure. Muran Wedi Tesfi, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Ray says Max is with Red Bull. Max is a once in a generation talent. Is he really that good? Is he really, really that good? Reaper says, John, you saw my comment on Twitch? I didn't see any Twitch comments load up in here. Did I miss that? Oh man, are we doing this thing again where it's not showing the comments? Let me take a look. Oh my God, Phil Johnson, you're right. It wasn't Gran Turismo. It was Need for Speed. Oh man, Need for Speed Underground was goated, man. Oh my goodness. Need for Speed was absolutely goated. How do I check to see if I'm... Oh my goodness, Need for Speed was such a goated game. What a throwback. Holy crap. Let me just check my Twitch real quick. How come it doesn't show on my damn... Man, yo, why am I paying for the Streamlab stuff if I can't read the damn comments, Streamlab? Come on, fix up. But thank you for joining us, Immortal Joker. Appreciate you. He says, what's up, good vibes, John? Tough Saturday at the Derby. Well, not really a Derby for us. A big game against Wolfsburg tomorrow. What do you think the outcome will be? Derby? Against Wolfsburg? Let's see. Samin Ahmed said, who do you think is better between Stiller, Baleba, Wharton, and Henderson? 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 What are we talking about? Which Henderson are we talking about here? Which Henderson are we talking about here? Oh, Immortal Joker's talking about the Manchester United's women's team. Oh, sorry, I didn't even follow the results there. Yeah, I think we lost 3-0, right? I didn't have a chance to watch the game, but it was such a good night against PSG. And then I saw very little bits of the game, and I was following the results and just kind of following what the vibes were like. And people weren't too happy with how United really just didn't turn up at all. But it's going to be a very fun game nonetheless against Wolfsburg for sure. But yeah, anyways, going back to this thing about Henderson, which I think we need to address. I don't know what you're talking about there with Henderson, but if we're just talking about Angelo Stiller, Carlos Baleba, and Adam Wharton, for me, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to go... Because those are three distinctly different midfielders. But for me right now, in terms of who I think Man United need, I'm going to say Adam Wharton 1. Ah, damn, that's a tough one, Simon. Oh, that's a tough one. Between Stiller, Baleba, and Wharton. Damn, that's a tough one. Ooh. I'm going to say right now, based on what Man United need, I'm going to go... Wharton... That's tough, man. That's tough. Chad, y'all want to help me with this one? That's tough. Damn, that's a tough one. I'm hesitant to put Angelo Stiller third because I really like Angelo Stiller, but right now, maybe in terms of what we need, I would say we definitely need a Baleba or Wharton first ahead of a Stiller. But I want Stiller so badly to join United as well. That's tough, man. I'm gonna go Wharton. I'm going to go Baleba, Wharton, Stiller. I'm going to stick with my guns and pick the player that I want to join United. I wanted to join United in the summer. I still think there's a quality player in Baleba. I wouldn't spend that much money that they were asking for in the summer. What were they asking for, like 100 M's or something? I would definitely spend a lot less. But it's tough. I think Adam Wharton has a little bit more of that like Michael Carrick energy to it, whereas Baleba reminds me a little bit more of a more a robust, a combustion midfielder, and I think those are two different players right there. But I'm gonna stick with Baleba. I think Baleba's robustness in the industry fits Ruben Amorim's style better in that sense. Ray says I'm craving some bibimbap. You know I love me some healthy bibimbap. I pick Park Ji-sung over those guys or Kim Seok-jin. I would definitely pick Park Ji-sung, not Kim Seok-jin. Kanyuk says, I personally think Baleba is the one we need and we will likely get. I feel the scouting department have seen the stats and numbers for what they want. He is not playing that well right now, but I feel it's intentional. I'm not too sure if he's not playing well on an intentional basis. I think the link that he had with United during the summer might have rattled his focus a little bit, but there is still a very quality player there, and I think he will definitely come back. If anything, the slight decline in performances probably means that Man United can find him for a little bit cheaper. But if Manchester United want to finesse the game in terms of the business side of things, we should also find other options because we want to show Brighton that, like, hey, you can't hold us for ransom. If you're not going to give us for the price that we think, then we'll go find somebody else. You know what I mean? I would much rather only go for Baleba for like 60 M's, 70 M's instead of spending 100 M's. You know, I would rather spend 80 M's on an Adam Wharton than 100 M's on a Baleba. But I would much rather have a Baleba for 60 M's than an Adam Wharton on 80. You guys know what I mean? Like, Man United needs to also have options in their pocket, so we're not going into these negotiations with these clubs going like, hey, the only player that we want is Baleba, so give us your price. Like, we don't want to do that. We need to be able to walk in and be like, nah, we're just looking around. If you give us what we can, that's it. You know what I mean? Cooper Motley says it's glitchy. Is the stream glitchy for you guys? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, guys. Phil Johnson says the scouting department told us Ugarte was one of the best midfielders in the world. Yeah, but I think the scouting department and of course the team has changed quite a lot over the years since we brought Manuel Ugarte. I think the data analysis of players and football in general has changed. We brought in that new data analysis guy. Yeah. And I think a lot of things have changed over the years. The scouting, the structure, Jason Wilcox doing a lot of big sort of overhauls of the system and how United used to operate. So, yeah, maybe this side right now might not look at Ugarte the same. Sort of this side being the scouting department might not look at Ugarte the same as the side that brought him. So, Kanyuk says, "What do we do with Cubby? Sad because I see that young star at Lyon that we are scouting could take his spot as beloved Wonder Boy because he looks good. I don't know who you mean with respect to the young player at Lyon, but I will tell you right now, Cubby Menu ain't going nowhere. Cubby Menu ain't going nowhere. We're gonna keep Cubby and we're gonna make sure that he becomes a Man United legend. You hear me? You hear me? I love Cubby. And I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I sing at the top of my lungs, what's going on? Ray says, does Chatfield then Cubby is currently better than Cunha, Mbumo, and Bruno? No, he's not better than Cunha and Mbumo, but he certainly is a good player. Is he better than Bruno? No, but I think they're two different styles of midfielders. I think Bruno is more of like a quick, nifty, ba-va-boom attacking 10, whereas Cubby is more of a ball-carrying 8, really. Mako 58 says, should Mazraoui start? I think Mazraoui today for Morocco, I think he had a man-of-the-match performance. Should he start? I would rather him see. I would start him on the right-hand side for sure. If Sheshko is out, then you push Mbumo up front, and then you put. Oh, that's tough though. because then we have to keep Mason Mount off. That's tough. I'd like to see Ahmad at wingback though. That's tough. That's a tough one, Mako. Right now, no, but he definitely is competing with Ahmad in that position. Liverpool videos in the chat says, "Hey John, I know it may be early since it's not New Year's yet, but what are some of your goals for the channel next year?" Some of my goals. The one thing I know for sure that I've always envisioned myself doing was making sure that my content and the content that I produce was going to be enjoyed by people. Enjoyed to the point that, you know, it can sustain me financially and be able to do content full time. My goal and my hope is that that can happen next year. But I think at this point in my life, the thing that I've learned is that it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. I feel like I'm in a position now in my life, and I'm at a point in my life now where I'm okay not being a successful content creator. There's so many, over the years, the one thing I've learned is that I've met so many successful content creators from all parts of the world and all walks of life. And when I look at them and when I see them make content and when I see the success that they have in terms of, you know, not the success, not equating to money, success equating to, are they able to generate revenue and do content full time? So when I see them succeed and I sort of watch them grow from afar and up close, I completely understand why. They are levels above me in terms of entertainment, in terms of the creativity, and I am 110% in awe of all of my fellow content creators because I also realized I'm not that competitive. You know, that's another thing about me is I learned, and I have had arguments with, and this might be a little bit BTS, but I've had a little bit of arguments with Jimmy because, you know, he knows how much I love making content and he knows how much I want to do content, but he also knows that, like, I'm not the most competitive guy. Like, I'm not cutthroat. I don't have that cutthroatness in me. I'm too soft in that sense. But when I see my fellow content creators succeed in that in the senses that I've just mentioned before and really sort of accelerate and excel in this space, I completely understand why. And I am in utter awe and admiration of all of them. So the one thing I've come to acknowledge is that I don't think I could ever get to that point. You know, I kind of just like, I don't want the pressure of having to make content for the sake of being, you know, generating money and creating followings. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that the videos that I make, first of all, are fun for me to make. And I also want to make sure that I don't want to put so much pressure on myself to the point that, like, I start caving into what the algorithm demands and I start sort of altering the methods in which I make the content, because I don't want that. I don't want to be in a position where I'm like strapped, you know, and held by the scruff of the neck to be like, you have to make the content X, Y, and Z style for the sake of you being a full-time creator. I wanted that so badly, but I think the thing that I learned this year, to answer your question, Liverpool videos, is that as much as content is important to me, and I would love to be in a position where I could do it full time, I'm not all too upset about it at this point. I'm okay now. I've accepted it. I don't know what's considered successful in the world of content, but let's be real in terms of, you know, brand deals and you know, the opportunity to stay afloat from a content creator's perspective. It is subscriber counts and numbers and metrics and all that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I couldn't be bothered too much about things like that. Well, and I should, and I am. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I do think about those things, but it's not to the point where I'm like, you know, oh my god, if this video doesn't work, then it's, you know, it's game over. Like, I don't want to think that way anymore. I feel like I'm too old to feel that way. I have too many priorities that definitely take more of a precedence and priority in my life. I care a lot more about my family, my partner, all these different things. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to sit here and, you know, be sad about not being successful. You know, I'm happy with where I am. I'm very happy with what I do for content. And if fate has me being a support content creator for other content creators, you know, I'm more than happy playing that role too, as long as I enjoy doing it, you know. Darwin the Goat in the chat. What's going on, Darwin? He says, just wanted to let you know, John, there's no ads on this, so you may not have turned on monetization. Darwin, thank you for letting me know. When I do my lives, I actually turn off all my monetization. I don't like the idea of us watching, like us having a conversation, and all of a sudden the stream stops and you're hit with a 30-second ad. I think that stinks. Um, I used to ask Jimmy to turn the monetization on after the live show has ended. But yeah, I'm sorry if I dragged that on a little too long. I was just trying to answer the question as truthfully as possible. But y'all are my community, and I've been telling y'all for the longest time, this is where I stand, this is how I feel, and yeah, I'm happy with where I am now, man. I just want to be healthy. I just want to be happy, and I want to live by the words I tell you guys all the time. I end the show every time with "Be happy and be healthy." I want to be in that same position. I want us to feel happy, and I want us to feel healthy. You know what I mean? And how can I be telling y'all to do that when I'm not focusing on that myself? All right, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to be healthy. It's hard to be happy, but you can do it if you try. You know what I mean? And the one thing I really don't want to do is sit here and think about content from the perspective of algorithm. Do I want to make videos for the sake of the algorithm? No, I only want to do stuff that I enjoy doing. So for example, if you see my Instagram, for example, it's everywhere. I do like an analysis video, something super serious, and all of a sudden I'm screaming and singing. You know what I mean? Like, it's all over the place. But I enjoy doing that because I like making videos based on what comes into my head. I'm like, oh, that might be important, or oh, that might be interesting. That's when I do it. You know what I mean? Eric in the chat, what's going on? He says, did you see Scotty's Chilena? What is Chilena? If that's a bicycle kick, then yes, I did see a bicycle kick. It was fire. But yeah, I'm sorry to have dragged that on too long there, but Liverpool Video says, I absolutely love your content. Just wondering, what do you think it would take for content creation to become a full-time gig? Well, I mean, when you're younger and, you live with family and you don't have commitments and things like that, then, being a full-time content creator means just saying, hey, I do content full-time, I mean it more, from me personally, I see it more as like doing content full time, but also being able to not do my other job full time. That's what I consider content full time, because I need it to help me sustain my life, because I have bills to pay, I have commitments, and those things are a lot more important to me at this moment in time. So, Phil Johnson says, at Stretford Paddock, they said that Mbumo, Ahmad, and Mazraoui can miss 7 games because of AFCON. Yeah, Phil, they could potentially. We are at a point right now where AFCON is looming very, very closely. I think it runs from mid-December to potentially till the end of to the middle of January, and it really depends on how each team does. But yeah, it is something that we've addressed before, and we'll probably talk about that again in the near future. Katie says, I love your content the best, though. Thank you so much for the kind words, Katie. Cody False 9 says, is it true that some content creators are competitive in a bad way, too? Like being selfish in the way they go about the industry? Whoa, Cody, that's a... Is it true that some content creators are competitive in a bad way? I want to answer this, like, honestly. And truthfully, over the past 11 odd years, I've met so many content creators, and I've met so many different people in the industry in all different walks of life. I have yet to run into somebody that rubbed me the wrong way, in the sense that, like, they're so competitive in a negative way. I've never ever seen that yet. If anything, I think most content creators that I've met are very cooperative, and they're very open to the idea of growing together, and they're very, very, very open to the idea of working together, and understanding that, look, we are at the end of the day competitors to some degree, some more closer competitively than others because of the field of expertise in the world of content. But overall, all content creators that I've met, at least, have been very, very kind and supportive and cooperative, and I've yet to see anybody that's, competitive in a negative way. I've heard of stories of some yucky behaviors, but it has never happened to me. And I'm very grateful, and I feel very blessed in that sense. I can't even tell you how awesome it is. You know, when I first started this content stuff, when we were out here in New York, it felt very lonely. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It felt extremely lonely. And now, you know, freaking 11, 12 years later, if you there's content creators everywhere in New York, and there's content creators, especially in the footy space. So many awesome people that I've met over the years, and it's so fun. Like I'm in group chats and they're texting me. They're like, "Yo, Uncle John, let's go film this. Uncle John, what you want to do? You free today?" Like, I love that. I love that, and I'm the oldest when I'm out there, and I'm okay with that. I feel like I have a different role to play. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it from the sense of like some content creators that are extremely doing so well right now, like I love that for them. You know, I absolutely love that so much for them. You know what I mean? I'm not in a place where I'm like, oh damn, why can't I? Hell no. I'm First of all, I'm too old for that. And with the greatest respect, like content is so important for me, and it's so much of what shapes me as a person right now. But it's not important to the point where it makes me do competitive. It makes me become competitive by nature in a different way. I've never done that before. Nor will I. I don't think I ever will. And I've some people have told me, in a very harsh way. Not harsh way, but in a blunt way, for the sake of being, you know, supportive. And they're like, no, you need to have a competitive edge if you want to survive in this industry and whatnot. But it's like, yo, like one thing I learned is that I want it, but I don't want it to the point where like I'm like freaking, like getting over the like overly competitive amongst my fellow creators. That's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? MMK Martin says, all I have to say before I go is Amarim in at all costs. Well, MK Martin, you in the right space for that. Cody False Nine says, that's always something I wondered, as I want to be a content creator in the future, but that's a part of it that seems a bit brutal. Yeah, of course, but every industry has competitiveness. Every walk of life, everywhere you go is competition. Everywhere you go. It's about how much you want to be competitive, and it's about what you want. If you breathe every single day of your life fiending at the idea of wanting something that badly, then yeah, you're gonna have to be competitive. It's just the world that we live in, But it's just, by nature, I'm not like that. So, Ray says, I'm glad for your content. Too much content is either rage baiting or just people talking 10 sentences in what could be said in one. You won't believe what happens next. When content first started, it was about long form. It was what really, grasped people's attention. But now that attention span has changed so much to the point that, like, it's more about how can we maintain that attention span in the matter of 10 seconds or, 5 seconds, and like, I'm not one to sit here and sulk about it. I think if anything, like, I've just accepted the fact that, oh, that's just sometimes the way it goes, and I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with that, because I could be here, strategizing on how I can make my content like that, but I don't. Dundada says, I feel like most successful content these days is negativity rage bait. I'm glad that you don't feel like you have to make a fool of yourself for views. And, Dundada, let me just say this real quick. One of the reasons why I also feel very empowered to just sit here and do what I want is also because of you guys, as long as I feel like there's value in what I do, I think that's very important. And you guys obviously expressed that to me, and I'm extremely grateful for that, Ray says, I've unfollowed so many people who just had in all caps, fire Amarin now. Oh man, I can't even. Ray, you know what's funny? Conversely speaking, I can't even tell you how many followers I've lost, thousands over the year, for supporting Amarim or just sort of not, being overly negative. You know what I mean? And it stinks, it sucks, but I'm completely okay with that. If y'all don't want to watch my stuff because you don't want to see me be happy or see me be positive or see me be not negative, rather, that's okay. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Cody False 9 says, like, for example, think about Saeed. He's like 8 hours a day. It's crazy. So the grind is on a different level. I wonder if it just feels like a job to him now. Um, I've not met Saeed. I've not spoken to him. I don't watch his content, but if he grinds 8 hours a day, then, that to me, that means he's doing content full time, and maybe he doesn't, maybe he has, maybe he makes enough money as a content creator to sustain his life and to be able to do it full time. Maybe he doesn't have as much responsibilities. I don't know. I don't know Saeed like that, but if he's doing it 8 hours a day and he's successful at it, then, all the power to him. You know what I mean? Jesu Tony Couture says, greetings, Shin. What's going on, my man? Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. The waiting room joining us. The United Talks community joining us. What's going on, y'all? Eric Canabathi joining us. What's going on? TV Cooper joining us. What's going on? Thank you for joining us, everybody. I actually have to go soon, but I just want to wrap up and answer a few more comments here before I head out. Tunis says, what do you think about Maddie FC? Tunis, Maddie is like a brother to me. Like, I have so much love for Maddie. One of the things that I also love doing as a content creator, especially because I've been in the space for a while, I might not have a huge following, but I love being able to share what I can to my people. And somebody like Maddie is somebody that I have a lot of time for. I've gotten to know him a lot better, and I've gotten a lot closer with him since last year. And we've sat down for dinners together. We've chatted up. We've made content together. We've hosted a meet and greet together. And Maddie is somebody that I absolutely have so much time for. He's a lovely guy. He's got so much love in his heart. And I'm hoping that me and Maddie can do more in the future. Then, we were talking about talented content creators before. Maddie is one of the most talented. He knows exactly how to do football content right. I think he balances entertainment, responsibility, fun, and he doesn't cross the line like that. And I love people like Maddie. And I got so much time for somebody like Maddie. You know what I mean? Like, that's somebody that I think deserves all the blessings and success. And he is, finding all that success and whatnot. And I always say, like, good things happen to good people. You know what I mean? And somebody like Maddie, he was putting in the work and grinding. And then you saw what was happening with him in the Club World Cup. He covered Fluminense, and Fluminense went on this incredible run. He got to interview one of his nation's incredible legends in Thiago Silva, which is what a dream come true moment that is for Maddie. I was like getting emotional seeing Maddie absolutely, do so well. And I got so much time for somebody like Maddie. And that's my boy. He's goated for real and good vibes and doesn't slam our players and always keeps positive vibes just like you. Thank you for that, Tunis. But yeah, like I said, it's funny because me and Maddie, our thoughts align very much similarly in the way that we think about football and Man United. Certain things we pivot slightly differently, but that's obviously because we're two different people and we have different opinions, and that's completely fine. But overall, I think me and Maddie were pretty much like the few content creators, at least that I knew, that was really truly back in Ruben Amram like that. And I'm not sitting here saying like, I told you so. Never that. But if you watch Maddie's content, he made you feel like, oh, I can see why it's kind of worth supporting Ruben Amram, and that's the value in that content. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just there like, freaking support him because I'm telling you, like he actually had fans thinking about why they should back him in that sense. You know what I mean? Mace Windex says, you made content with Maddie? Where? I made hella content with Maddie. It's on Instagram, it's on YouTube. Ray says those same people would have fired Sir Alex before he won. I'm not sure what you were talking about up there, but yeah, like I was saying, Tunis, I got a lot of time for my content creator friends. There's so many incredible people, so many talented people, and they deserve a lot of the success, all the success, because like I said before, to answer the question from before, they're dope people, man. I got so much love for them. I got so much time for them. It makes me happy seeing them happy, and it makes me happy seeing them grow. And I hate saying that because it makes me sound like I'm an old fart and like, no, I'm I'm dead ass. You know what I mean? Oh shit, Maddie's in the chat. What the hell? Hey, I'm embarrassed now. Yo, let's delete all the good stuff I said. All the nice stuff. Let's get rid of that. What the hell? Maddie says, timing was wild. I joined literally as you answered the question about me. Love you, bro. What the f... All right, big up Maddie in the chat. That's hilarious. What's going on, Maddie? What the hell? What kind of crazy coincidence is that Maddie joins the stream as we're talking about Maddie and how I got so much love for Maddie? What the hell? Me and Maddie was Maddie, we gotta go grab dinner. Yeah, let's chat about that. United Talks community in the chat. What's going on? He says, did you watch Ghana versus South Korea today? South Korea beat us 1-0. Yes, United Talks. I did watch that. I don't think that game was all that too fun and entertaining, but it was good. It was good. I mean, from my perspective, at least. Jay Layup in the chat. What's going on? He says, yo, what up, yo, bro? What up, bro? Quick question, my boy. You and a sheep ice. Heck. Let me read some serious comments here because my boy is asking some freaking ridiculous. United Talks to me. He says, how did you start out? I'm struggling to start out in content and balance in life and work. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy, especially if you want to take content seriously. You know what I mean? Like if you're somebody that wants to do content because you feel like this is a passion and you love talking about it, you know what I'm saying? Like you love being creative and expressing that creativity, then content is so important. I mean, then sorry, not content is so important. Then your desire and your passion for it is so important because that's what's really going to, you know, carry your fire into wanting to continue to do it. You know, doing content full time or doing content even on the side while having a full-time job and doing all these other things is incredibly difficult. It's a lot. It's time consuming. It's exhausting. You know what I mean? But you do it because you enjoy it and it's something that, you know, makes you happy. It certainly makes me happy. I love talking to y'all. I love having a community. You know what I mean? And it was even more so important when I was younger because I grew up where only my college friends really watched footy. My childhood friends that I saw a lot more often, they weren't really into footy like that. DB Cooper says, yeah, man, come on. Twice, dude. Twice. What we talking about? We're not doing K-pop here because you know K-pop's not my forte. And what's going on, Praveen? Cody Fall says, how many full-time football content creators do you think there are? I don't know, man. It's probably a lot. There's probably a lot, Cody. It seems like a lot of them are on TikTok, like Naeem. I met Naeem. He's a funny guy. He's a good guy too. I know some of his content was a little wild, and I was like, Naeem, you got to chill out with that stuff sometimes, man. You going a little too crazy. But he's a good guy. And doesn't he have like 1 million followers on TikTok or something? So yeah. But shouts out to Naeem as well. Naeem is so funny because I was outside Old Trafford and I was literally just, you know what, this was another thing that's incredible. It was like I was like just like outside just staring at Old Trafford and I was just like doing this, right? And I was like, and I see like in my peripheral somebody staring at me and I'm like, and then Naeem walks over to me. He's like, aren't you John? I was like, oh shit, what's up, Naeem? Yeah, it's funny. Tony says, how did you get Fabrizio to jump in a call with you? Maybe I'll tell you that story some other time, but it wasn't easy. And we did get some time with him. So that was really cool. Sitting down with Fabrizio was an incredible experience. Fabrizio is like, that man runs on 10,000 miles per hour. He works so hard. It's insane. Especially during the summer months when the transfer window's kicking, he is firing. Like he's in an F1 race. Like my man is on 10,000 miles per hour. Eric Canabathi says, in your opinion, what are the chances of South Korea progress through the World Cup for next year, I would be grateful if we went to the round of 16. I would be grateful if we, advanced from the group stages into the knockout rounds. I'll take that all day. Yusef says Fabrizio must get such little sleep during the summer. I asked him, Reese. I asked him. I was like, Fabrizio, you must be tired as hell. He's like, yeah, man. I think he told me he gets like 2-3 hours of sleep a day during the summer, and his phone is just blasting. Katie says, I don't know when I'll be in New York again, but I'm sure it'll be sooner rather than later. John knows about the one K-pop group I follow full time, so he's just fine. I'm on the Reckless Delegations. Okay, cool. Shouts out to KG as well. Ray says, was Rio knowing who you were the best he knows who I am you've ever experienced? Was it the best moments that I've experienced? That's a good question. Very good question. I've had a lot of those experiences. I've been I think I'm blessed to say that. I kind of want to answer it carefully because I really want to make sure that I'm thinking about it before I answer it. But Rio knowing who I was. Let me see. Rio Ferdinand is a Man United legend. He's somebody that I worshipped growing up because I played center back as I was growing up, and for me, it's like I loved modeling my game like Vidic, but I always wanted to be a Rio because I wasn't good on the ball, and I always felt like Rio was just so silky on the ball. But as much as I think Rio was dope, like, let me tell you, like, meeting Bruno Fernandes, meeting Johnny Evans, meeting Mason Mount, meeting the whole squad, and so many of them telling me that they watch my stuff, and it was like, and, support, and, getting a support in that way is insane. It's absolutely insane to me. I think all of them are. I can't pick one. It's so hard, Ray. It's so hard. I know, Liam, what's going on? I mean, like, because it's like Rio, it's different because, I grew up watching Rio Ferdinand. It's different, I didn't grow up watching Bruno, but him saying that he knows me or him saying he watches me is very different from Rio saying he watches me. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's that like sort of that like idolization element of it as a kid growing up watching Rio. I mean, meeting Patrice was such a vibe too. Like Patrice showing up and like showing me love. That was incredible. Because he's also somebody that I loved so much with everything in my heart because of what he does for what he used to do with Park, and him knowing me and him knowing my stuff was also an incredible moment for sure. It's hard, man. It's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick one. Sifo Nalut, what's going on? I'm doing great. How are you? We're just about to wrap up the show, but thank you for joining us. Maybe Ant says, hey, John, homeless United fan here. Know anyone that has a current United jersey they would be willing to let go for the low? Love your content. Maybe Ant, thank you for the love for the content, but I'm sorry to hear if you're actually, like, if you're really homeless, I'm sorry to hear that. Eric says, thanks for the response, John, but I would like to know if you do cover for other Asian national football teams as well. Eric, I would love to do so. I just don't have the time. I really wish I had more time in the day to like watch all different kinds of teams and all different kinds of games, but I just don't have enough time in the day. I really don't, and it sucks, but I don't want to tell you I watched the game and I want to talk about analyzing something when I've not really analyzed it. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I'm true to what I'm saying. So if I talk about a footballer, like for example, I think the perfect thing I could say is Takefusa Kubo. Like I think Kubo is a player that I really want to keep an eye out on because I think there is a decent, talented player there. But I don't have the time to watch him as much as I want to. So I want to make a video about him, but I don't want to tell y'all that I watch Japanese football and all this stuff because I don't. Grant Robertson, thank you for the heart. Appreciate you. Shay Delaney, what's going on? Thank you for joining us, Shay. Ray says, like meeting Bruno and them, did they know who you were? Because Rio knew you and shouted you out. Well, some of them did. Some of them did. I mean, I've seen Bruno a few times now. I've seen I saw Rasmus a few times. I saw Bruno a few times. I saw the whole squad a few times. But in terms of having conversations, especially with somebody like Bruno, and then Rasmus, that was yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. Cause so y'all, if you guys know, there was a moment where I got to get inside. I got access to be able to hang out with some of the players as they sort of wrapped up the day. But the thing that I love about at least some of the players, um, is that I think they also understand that I talk about Manchester United and I'm a fan content creator. They don't watch my videos every single day. So they also have to be a little bit careful about how they interact with content creators. So I think that's very important. So um I love that. I love that there is that boundary. You know what I mean? Matt Lato says, "Are you watching the Jamaica match today?" Unfortunately, I cannot. I have to head out as soon as I finish this. But yeah. Kanyuk says, "Keep doing your thing, John Shin. I gotta head out. Love, peace, and Manchester United. Love to you as well, my brother. Thank you for joining us." And yeah, I can't just say Bruno. It's Bruno Miguel Borch Fanange. But yeah, I mean, look, just to wrap up on this whole conversation, like when Bruno said he knew me and like he was like, "Yeah, I already watch you," like that's a crazy thing. That's the captain of my football club. And he's not just some captain. He's Bruno Fernandes. Like he's one of the best players we've had in this team for in the longest time. You know, for him to say he watches my content, it makes me feel like at least I'm doing something right because, you know, I always value the importance of speaking about my club responsibly. And whether Bruno values that or whether Bruno just scrolls by and he sees my face, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that Bruno Fernandes watches it, and it's important for me because then in some ways, then I also have a responsibility. And it's something that I've been following for a long time. You know, it's not like I was going absolutely crazy years ago and then I like did a 180. And I mean, you know, I've always felt it my responsibility and my duty to speak about my club and my players and my team responsibly to a relative degree, you know. Grant says Bruno is a good captain. Absolutely, Grant. Absolutely, absolutely. I think he's been the best signing since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, bar none. Praveen says, "Watch Bruno comment." No, he's not. Bruno is not watching right now. DB Cooper. No. I think he scrolls by my content and there was. This is a BTS, but there was a time when Man United were doing really poorly, and I can't remember the exact contents of the video, but it was actually funny because Bruno double tapped the video and then he unliked it. And I think that's, again, like I was saying before, is he's being careful, you know, and I really love and respect that about him. I don't want to be friends with Bruno. I don't want to be friends with the Man United players. I would love to at some point if they're good guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they might be Man United players, but let's be real, with the greatest respect, I got my own time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got time for everybody, you know? But if they're good people and if there's a time or place and appropriate moments, then cool, why not? Absolutely. But I want to make sure that there is that boundary between myself and the players and the team. And Bruno and Ruben Amorim, and they do a very, very good job of that. They also understand that, like, it's so important to limit the amount of social media noise that they bring into the locker room, whether it be for good or for bad, you know. And I think that's very important because, you know, I think, you know, especially the younger generation of footballers and just younger generation in general. But yeah. Diva Cooper says, "I'm not really the type to do so. I told you so, but Scott McTominay." Hey, no, you have every right to speak that way about Scott McTominay. I absolutely missed it with Scott there. Mr. Bear, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you. I'm gonna have to head out soon. My voice is absolutely, my throat is throbbing. Um, AH14 says, how did you start a soccer page? Just, just chatting about Man United. It was on YouTube long time ago when the highest resolution I could post was like 480p, 240p or something like that. And Cody Falls says, do you think United Strand will get his haircut this season? Will United win 5 in a row? Yo, look, you have to also understand that like winning 5 games in a row is extremely tough. Not many teams do that. So, do I think he'll get it? I hope so. I hope so. Not for just for his sake, but more importantly for our sake, for Man United's sake. You know what I mean? If Man United win 5 games in a row, that's so great for us. I don't want the noise to be about will Frank get his haircut. I love that Frank is getting all this, media attention and stuff like that, because I think what he said before was that he's doing it for charity, which is great. And, if he's generating money and doing things for charity, then that's awesome. But as much as I would love to see Frank continue to, generate revenue for the sake of charity, from a Man United fan's perspective, nothing would make me happier than seeing my team win 5 in a row. You know what I mean? What's going on, Baba Tunde? Thank you for joining us. Daniel Berry, thank you for joining us. Isco Kiko, thank you for joining us. Ray says, I'm glad Bruno Fernandes is watching positive content. He deserves that for all his hard work he's done for the club. Yeah. I think Bruno Fernandes is somebody that also understands the importance of, making sure that he shows love to the people that are responsible as well. You know what I mean? And if he watches my content every day or every month or once in a blue moon or whenever it is, I'm glad, because I am proud enough to say that my content, from my perspective, is, I guess, considered, I feel personally, with the team's interest at heart, with the club's interest at heart. I would never use my club's downfall for my clicks. You know what I'm saying? What position will Manchester United finish this season? I think they'll finish top 10. Grant, I think that we'll finish top 10. I really do think so. I think we're still in a transition season. So I think we're in a position right now where we still have a little bit of sort of like things we need to iron out. But I think we have everything to finish top 10 for sure. Ray says, aren't you supposed to use his full name? Yes, Ray, I know, but my throat is killing me. I've been talking away for an hour and 30 minutes by myself. Damn it. DB Cooper says, I think the dude should just cut his hair. It was fun. We all enjoyed it, but our last 5 results were decent. I don't want a negative spin on it just because he didn't cut his hair. I don't think there should be negative. I personally don't think there should be any kind of spin. He's doing it as a fun thing. If I think, who was it? I think Diogo Dallo or somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said it. It's like, we want to get 5 wins. It's not for him to get his haircut. Hopefully he gets his haircut, but we want the 5 wins for the 5 wins. Like, that's what I'm telling you. Like, it's annoying to see that other rivals are taking that news and like using that sort of United Strand situation against us. But Frank doesn't mean any ill will. And like I said before, like if Frank says what he's doing is for charity, then that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like he's cracked the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? He's cracked the code. It's awesome seeing what he's doing. Especially because he says he's donating to charity and stuff like that. That's dope. Cody False 9 says, do you think United will bring the United Strand guy to Old Trafford to get his haircut on the pitch after? I don't think so. I don't even think it's strategically smart for Man United to do something like that. Because while Frank is an awesome guy, I've spoken to him a few times. He's a very kind-hearted. Like I got so much time for him. It's also important from the club media perspective. Cody Falls says, Jesus, I just checked. He's on 700K now. I saw he even got signed by an agency. Yeah, I think he signed with Double Tap. I know the guy's at Double Tap. Well, I don't really know them that well, but they're good guys. Ray says, aren't you supposed to use his phone? Oh, we read that already. I'm happy to announce the return of long form content, 1 hour live stream. My voice hurts. Ray, it's very different from filming a pre-recorded, video versus me reading 1,000 miles per hour, all these comments that are flying. Yeah. Tibogo says, Frank can do whatever he wants with his hair. Yeah, exactly. He can do whatever he wants, man. Now, if he was a kind of person, which he's not, but if he was somebody that like showed up and said, used that whole like fun little 5 games in a row kind of thing to spread negativity about Manchester United and do something negative, then I would have a problem with it. But he's the opposite of that. I don't think he's doing that at all. That's why I got time for him. Take a deep breath and I get real high. I think it's a good place to end it. I gotta head out. Oh my God, I'm so late. I'm so screwed. But yeah, guys, it was 1 hour and 30 of me yapping. It was supposed to be a live call session. I didn't get a single call today, but that's cool, man. That's cool. Tomorrow I won't be able to do a live stream, but I might check in on a quick live stream on Instagram and might do like a little video chat with some of y'all. I haven't decided yet because it's really contingent upon when I finish jury duty tomorrow, but yeah. Yeah, Katie, I'm so late. I gotta head out. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I think we weren't even talking about football. I think we were just talking about like content and life and stuff, We'll do it. We'll do it some more again. I think we'll have some more conversations later down the line for sure. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate every single one of you guys for checking in today. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't know what today was, but it was, just vibes. You know what I mean? Just vibes. Grant, thank you so much for 36 roses. Appreciate you, my man. Races, have a good time at jury duty. Lawyers appreciate it. That's awesome, man. Just doing our civic duty, But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you guys for always showing love and support to the channel and to the growth and to everything that I do for real. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, if you guys are brand new, please consider subscribing to the channel and across all the social media platforms. And of course, hit that notification bell so you guys are always staying up to date on whenever I'm dropping new content. And we'll be back. We'll be back soon. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good place to end it. My throat is shot. My throat is gone. I'm out of here. Be happy, be healthy, take care of all your loved ones. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.